To your point, Love Mike K9, Mike is correct. That's worse than most, but not bad when you look at Trump. Yeah. Trump is biting in your face.
He's very transparent, and he's very transparent on what he wants to do. This is part of the fear that a lot of the establishment, now this is establishment white and left, they're really afraid because he doesn't have to worry about re-election.
Correct.
It's not a concern for him. This is, he's got 4 years and he's done.
Oh, so wait a minute, hold on, Mike. They told us that once he's elected, there's no more elections. He's gonna cancel them all.
Well, Larry, I noticed you're not in chains, and I see all the women that are typing in comments right now. I don't think they're locked into their kitchens, nor are they barefoot. Right. So I think they may have overstated the devastation.
No, you tell me MSNBC lied to me? Impossible.
Yeah, right?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. That's good. Are you saying that? Are you saying that when it comes to things that are, say, fascistic or authoritarian, that there should be some form of censorship?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that can't go with you on that one. No, can't go with you there.
No, yeah. I know there's some people like on principle who are like that, but
100%. Yes, 100%. Can't go with you on that one.
But yeah, you know what? I think the difficulty comes with who was deciding those things. But if we decided, hey, you know what? No Nazi salutes, and if you do, you're fined or you're in jail.
The talk has been, look, I know we locked you down. I know we crushed your jobs. I know we destroyed your businesses and careers, but we would like some grace for that. And what I said is, okay, I'm going to hear you. Let me ask you a question. Are you saying that you should have never done that? That you had no right to do that and you would never do it again? And the answer is no, we just didn't know enough. If you are telling me you should have never done it, you've learned your lesson, it is wrong, I will never do it again, I'm open to grace. But if your answer is, if we knew better, then we have the right to destroy your businesses and to crush your children's education, then no grace. What we should learn from this is not whether or not the science was right or wrong. What we should learn from this is government should never dictate how we live our lives, ever. I hope you understand that in the future, it's not about the thing, it's always about the mandate. Thank you.
We're planting a flag on Mars? Dude,
yeah.
He's going too far.
Wait a minute. No, he's not. JFK said we were going to the moon, and we did.
Yep.
It is realistic, scientifically realistic, that we can land on Mars.
Yes.
We can do it and return. So he's not saying something that's impossible. Again, if you don't set the bar high, extremely high for Trump, then you're going to be dragged through the mud because they're already doing it. They've been doing
look,
it.
I'm just going to paraphrase. You remember it. He said something like, "Doing the impossible is what America does," or something like that. I'm getting it wrong, but it was something like that. And I thought that's a good one. That's a good one.
There's a saying that I always used to like to say: I want to reach for the stars because if I only get the clouds, I've already succeeded. And that's a way to live your life. If Trump gets us back to the moon, or we have all the other things that we all every day say we need, no one's going to care that we didn't get to Mars.
So let's talk a little bit about RFK Jr. I mean, they're placing him in a category saying that he's a more difficult to confirm pick, but I actually have a different attitude about this, Larry. In my opinion, the president gets his picks, but there's also the issue of a mandate that President Trump received when he had the popular vote, but there's also the issue of people mischaracterizing who these people are. Hey, RFK Jr. is actually really accomplished. So is Tulsi Gabbard. So is Pete Hegseth. These are not just TV stars or authors. They are very accomplished people who are great choices for these roles.
Well, there's a couple of things. Number one is he's putting them in specific roles. What he has to deal with is people are worried. Well, wait a minute. Is RFK Jr. really some kind of crazy Democrat, or is he something crazy? No, you're putting him in the role that matters, which is health. And again, if you remember, he literally said, Trump said this during his presentation, he said, we're going to make our children healthy. He said that in his inauguration address. He's serious about Kennedy. And look, who doesn't want healthy kids, right? If you don't want healthy kids, you have a mental problem, right? Obviously, you want healthy kids. We all do. So who's going to fight against that? What's going to happen here, though, is remember, these senators, many of them, they know people like Bobby Kennedy Jr. are going to be, they're absolutely going to be confirmed. What are they trying to do? They're trying to create some type of show so they can use that for the commercials to raise money. This is a way they're going to raise money. This is not about stopping RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. It's about cash.
So they're trying to raise cash for the midterms, which actually started today. The race for the midterms started this weekend because, after inauguration, every congressman will be dialing for dollars for 2026. Yep.
Yes, and they're all going to be saying things like, we got to fight Trump. They're all saying that. We're going to fight Trump. We're going to fight Trump. You're not fighting Trump. The guy won. He's going to get most of his cabinet for sure, if not all of it. He's going to get a bunch of people from his cabinet. It's going to happen, but they have to look like they're still fighting. Remember something, the Democratic Party, they got their butt kicked last year, badly. So how many of their leadership got replaced? None. They just kept exactly the same way. They're happy. The leadership's doing well. One guy got replaced because he retired. Other than that, no one changed. So they're still fighting the same thing. They're still raising money. Harris is still raising money. And she's not even vice president anymore, and she's still raising money. So this is all about cash. Trump is going to get who he wants. RFK Jr. is going to be confirmed, but they're going to get a bunch of cool TV commercials while they yell at Bobby Kennedy Jr. for whatever they're going to yell at him about. You see already with Hegseth. They yelled at Hegseth, and they're supporting their issues. That'll be in some commercial locally. They'll raise a bunch of money off it, and we'll keep moving. All right. Let me see here. Phil says, do you think there's a constructive element to the anti-establishment movement? I see a lot of blacksmithing, construction, woodworking, building social media. It might be my rhythm, but there is an element to it. And it's because it is working class, right? If you look at what's happened, and this is what Farida said, and it's what I've been saying, the Democratic Party has become the party of the elites. That's who it is. And heavily highly educated elite women. Heavily that. But elites in general. The establishment in general. So more of the working class has been moving over to the Republican Party to include blacksmithing, construction, those types of people have been moving over there. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Yes, absolutely. So 100%. Point is correct. The system is devastating the third parties. New York State is the worst. I mean, your state's pretty bad too, but mine's the worst.
Yeah, right? I think we're number one.
And here's why I say we're the worst. We were the only state in the entire union last year that did not have any independents on the ballot for president. The only one. RFK Jr. spent $20 million getting a ballot access. He spent $1 million just in New York State, and they threw him off because his address was wrong. I'm not joking. New Hampshire literally asked him, well, what's your address? Well, I vote in New York State. I have my license for practice in law in New York State. My fishing, hunting license, guys, all in New York State. He said, then New York is your address. So he put that down for his address. He comes to New York, same address now. They go, no, you don't live there long enough. You live in California. It's a lie. You're a felon. Then he says, no more DEI in government. Now, I want to be clear.
Thank God.
I'm happy about that. I'm not unhappy about that.
It's static.
I'm not unhappy about that. But what I'm saying is, to many people, it's almost like saying oil and water, right? How can you say, I care about, Black America, Hispanic Americans, all creeds, colors, ethnic backgrounds, that's what he said, and then go, by the way, no DEI.
Well, DEI has something to do with...
Aren't most people going to say that's crazy?
No. I'm sure every progressive out there said that. Everyone else who has a brain, everyone else who actually believes that people, regardless of their color or have agency in their lives, will say that's fantastic, because it's about merit. It's about being qualified. It's about being the best person, not the right checkbox. And DEI is dehumanizing. It absolutely dehumanizes everyone.
You don't got to piece you on DEI. I stopped doing those types of training in my day. You know what my day job is. I stopped doing that training because they all wanted me to do anti-racist training. I'm like, I'm not doing that bullshit. It's garbage.
Yeah.
So I had to stop. I literally stopped doing diversity training because it became garbage. So I stopped doing it. So I'm with you. All I'm saying is, can't you see how a bunch of Americans can say that doesn't match, is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to argue on DEI. It's not what I'm arguing on. To go back, thank you for the $5. Why do you think libertarianism isn't as popular as it could be? Seems common sense, fiscal responsibility, and non-aggression would be a huge win. I'll give you 2 reasons why. In fact, let me give you 3 because they're related. There's 3 reasons why. Reason number 1, we don't have a very good front person, right? We don't have a very good front person for libertarianism who's popular. It's very hard. Our biggest one ever was Ron Paul. That was our biggest one ever, was Ron Paul. We haven't had anyone who could match him. We just haven't. We got close, kinda, with Harry Brown. And because of popularity, we got a little bit closer with Gary Johnson, not because he was a good libertarian speaker, not because of that, because he was just physically more popular from being a governor. So I think we had a little bit of that, but that's really it. So that's number 1. We don't have a good, positive front man. Number 2, most of the time, most people who are arguing libertarianism come across as being very selfish, and not realistic. They speak about things like, well, just end it, and that goes to the 3rd piece, which is too many libertarians who are front people for us are only worried about virtue signaling. You hear them say all the time, my job here as libertarians is to tell the truth. Gives a shit. Doesn't mean anything. I tell the truth too. So what? A lot of people do. Right? Who cares? Right? The question, do you have actual answers? Or they just talk about rhetoric. It's just end it all. Government bad. I say government bad too, all the time. And I say, people still are in trouble. People need help. I say all the things. So I think those are the 3 reasons. I think it's common sense. It's why I'm libertarian. I think that's one of the reasons, the 3 reasons why. When we get someone up front who doesn't sound selfish, and the problem is, fiscal responsibility and incomes can sound selfish if you say it the wrong way. You've got to be able to say it in a way that doesn't sound selfish. And that's hard, particularly when people are trying to pretend like it's all about the facts and the facts and the facts. It's about feelings too. Zuckerberg didn't do what he said, but he did because he is a socialist or an authoritarian or a bad, or whatever words you want to use to insult him. That's not the reason why he did it. He did it because he was scared. If you were to call him a coward, that would be more of an accurate word. We're going to call him that, maybe. He was scared. But you might have been scared too. It was your company, and the FBI is calling you and your people up and threatening. Why are you treasonous or whatever they were saying, right? You might have been scared too. So he did what he did because he was afraid. Elon showed him, you don't got to be afraid.